hourly rate calculator, guys, again, I'm going to have to skim through this because I am behind. So let's be aware that there is a training on the portal. It is under, where I showed you before, under, you're looking at crew profitability, and you'll find your hourly rate one under that. There's a full video training on there. I've probably still got it up on here, actually. There's a full, it's a 1 hour and 7 minute video, and there's this download that we're going to go through is on there, and there's also the audio. So if you want to listen to it in full, go for it. This sheet is the way for you to get that average. So I've got 4 spreadsheets open, so let me find the right one. Put it up here where I can look at you guys. The idea is this is your company average that it'll open on. There's an overhead section and then there's crew members. So I'm just going to skim through one of them really quickly. You come in here, it will say, what's your crew member's one's name? So it's Craig, right? What hourly rate are you paying them? And that's their full, this is for a full timer. We'll look at subbies again in a sec. So you pay me, $35 an hour full time, which is a lot more obviously than 35 or 40 an hour as a subby. There's no daily travel allowance to above award. I've got annual leave, sick leave. I'm in Victoria, so I've got 11 public holidays a year. So just check what state you're in. And if you've got only 10, like we used to have 10, and then fucking Dan Andrews gave us the dumbest public holiday in the world for grand final day. So put that in there. I'm not going to trade school, and you might go, look, we want him to be a supervisor, so we're going to send me off for 5 days a year to do Excel training, computer training, whatever. Weather days, find your long-term average. You might have 0. We would put around 6 that they got paid for on in total throughout the year. RDOs, it's dropped down. Do you have 0, 13 or 26? Guys, on that, RDOs are a thing that are compulsory in the unionised sector. Again, we never occupied that sector, but we put it to a vote. James, were you around when we had RDOs? Were you part of that?
No, I don't think we were doing them at the time.
There we go.
I think we might have just started fortnightly ones, actually, just as I was leaving.
So we only ever did monthly, so it probably tells me. They're monthly RDOs, which what it meant was there is a guaranteed, as we talked about before, 38 hours a week. Right? So that's 7.6 hours a day of ordinary time. Anything beyond that, and you go into overtime. The RDO simply means you pay 40 hours per week at ordinary time, 8 hours a day. Each week, they only get 38 hours on their into their bank account, and 2 hours the employer holds on to. Every 4 weeks, you've got 4 times those 2 hours is 8 hours. You give them they see it as a paid day off. It is not a paid day off. They have already done the hours. They have earned the money. You're just holding it and you're paying it to them later. So an RDO is technically an unpaid day. So it's super important if you are doing this calculation and you're going to have them on RDOs, you put them in there, because what it means is that if you have RDOs fortnightly is 26 a year, monthly, or every 4 weeks, I should say, is there's 13 of them a year. That's 13 less productive days a year. They don't get paid for them, but they don't work on site for them either. So that's just dropped down because those are your options, basically, fortnightly, monthly. Do you do admin toolbox, other non-chargeable time? And this is hours per week. It's in orange to make sure you put it there. You go, oh, look, they make us get together for 15 minutes a morning. We do a stand-up meeting for 15 minutes a morning, whatever it is, put your time in there. Super. Check your rate each year as you go in. It does go up year by year. We've just put in 10%. So, I won't Google it because I need to go quickly, but there's the super rate. Make sure you're right. Put in whatever your work cover rate is for what you are being charged. So if it is 4.811, you need to put that in, right? If it is only 3%, great. Know what your work cover rate, whack it in there. Payroll tax. Are you eligible for paying it? If so, yes, put it in there. You need to know that. So again, if you're going to have payroll, if it's in Victoria and your payroll tax is 4%, that's 0.485, right, which will come up as, hopefully as a percentage. If you are going to only have $1 million, or only you're going to have $1 million in payroll, you only have to pay it on the first half of that. You times it by half. Right? If it's now $650,000, you only have to pay it on 35% of it. I times it by 3.5. So I'd give everyone 1.7%. Does that make sense with everyone?
Yep.
Cool. Co-invest. Now, I will get this updated. Co-invest is what we call it in Victoria. It is your portable long service leave. And we might just create a cheat sheet that says state by state what that is, where your percentages are. I'm sure Tom put in something before about there being a threshold. So we just need to make sure that you've got that accurate for where you're based. That gives you a total billable hours. Now the billable hours are how many hours they on site a year, right? That's what we mean by billable hours. If you're doing hourly rate 100% of the time, that's the number of hours you can bill a client for in an ideal world. If you're doing all on-site work, I would think you might want to put in defects time, because I hate doing hourly rates work, because if I'm on fixed price contract and I fuck it up, no worries, no one cares. If I talk to my guys for an hour at lunchtime, no one cares. As soon as I'm on hourly rate, and I've got to do a safety check, which is compulsory, it's required by the government, and we do it for half an hour. I get a call at the end of the day, hey, you were fucking, chin wagging to you guys for half an hour, don't charge me for that, I won't be paying it. Fucking what? It's part of the overhead costs. Anyway, you need to factor that in if you're doing it. I hated doing hourly rate work. I just wanted fixed price. I could run the team the way I wanted, right? So the real on-site cost for me is $49.33. So I'm paid $35 an hour, but with all of these other costs, the break-even rate for me is $49.33 at $35 an hour, right? We have then a couple other sections here, which are your overheads, your director's time, your full-time staff, and your annual hours worked. Then your cost of goods sold, the same full-time staff, and your annual hours worked, right? We're going to cover overheads and cost of goods sold later on through today. So what I'm just going to show you here is how it works. You put in your overheads. What does that mean? It means annual overheads. If you have got, in this case, 3 staff, right? And it turns out that you're doing, let's make it simple again, $100,000 in overheads. Now that is just things that are not going to go up and down. It's your insurances, your cars. We'll have a look at it. You'll get a better idea of it all. But it's all your overheads that are a cost of doing business that have to be covered by your guys on site. There's director's admin time in there as well. This is something that I want you to be conscious of thinking about putting in so that you get paid.